I'm a photographer, and I have some images that I want to show you. But before I do that, I ask that you join me in coming into this moment in a deep breath together. Can we do that? Thank you. That was more for me than you, but I really appreciate you joining me. So like I said, I have some images that I'd like to show you. And as you look at each of the people in the slides, I want you to just notice what you notice. Now I want you to notice what shifts when I tell you a little bit about each of these people. This guy loves cupcakes. She is a foster mother of 2 children. He died of cancer a month after our photo shoot. She is a farmer and feeds a lot of people. He is a straight-A student and phenomenal soccer player. Did you notice anything shift when you heard nothing about anyone, and then when you did hear something about someone? Every day we come into relationship with people, and we have a choice of how we're going to see them. Perhaps like with the first few people, you could see through a clearer lens, one that doesn't project any ideas or assumptions on who that person is or how the relationship might go. But once you hear something personal about people, you bring in your own experiences and conditioning around that, and it clouds that lens, and oftentimes brings up assumptions, judgments, and expectations about how that relationship might go. But oftentimes, that can also disconnect and isolate us from one another. So think about this. What would it look like in your personal relationships with people that you know really well? You could see through that clear lens, the one that I call the I don't know mind, that simply witnesses people as they are with no expectations, assumptions, or judgments, and simply holds space for them. What would that look like? To me, it looks like a relationship of possibility and maybe even peace. I have been a freelance photographer for over 25 years, so I've had the opportunity to look at people through a variety of lenses. If I have on my zoom lens, I get to focus in really tightly, seeing the lines in their faces and the twinkle in their eye. If I pop on my wide-angle lens, I can back up a little bit and see them in a broader perspective, maybe in relationship to their environment or the people that are in the frame with them. But the point is that every time I pick up the camera, it's an opportunity for me to choose mindfully what I leave in that frame and what I edit out, just like in life. And about 10 years ago, I started thinking about what it might be like if I could see through the lens of my own eyes like I had seen through the lens of my camera. Could I maintain this mindfulness and this presence with people without the camera up in front of my face? Well, I got the opportunity to see the power of this when I was actually on a photo assignment. I was at Salve Regina University in Newport, and I was hired to photograph His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Big deal. But I was given an assigned seat 3 rows back from the stage. I couldn't even get up and move around to take his image. And he entered the back of the tent that was filled with over 2,000 people. Well, I'm kind of in a little huff sitting in my assigned seat. I was on the edge of the aisle, so I thought, well, at least I've got that. As he came in through the back of the tent. And as I turned around, I instantly was noticing the energy that he was bringing to that tent. He was so present for so many people that he didn't even know. Everyone was happy, smiling, looking at him and hoping to get a touch of his hand. As he slowly and carefully made his way forward, I was fortunate in my stationed seat to be able to turn around and get a beautiful shot of him engaging with 2 Salve students who were just behind me. So I got this beautiful shot of them looking at him and him looking at them. So I was happy. My mood had changed. But then all of a sudden I thought, what would happen if I could just pause for a minute here and watch this man without my camera? I had to. It was calling me. So I put the camera in my lap. And he walked to the other side of the aisle, and I was still in awe of how present this man was for every person that he was greeting, as if they were the only person in that tent. I was fascinated. But then something really beautiful happened. He turned back towards me. And I had the camera down. I was ready. And he reached his hand out and locked eyes in mine. And as he did that, we connected, and I felt like pure love was staring right through to my heart. It was the most amazing thing I had ever felt. And I'm surrounded by an amazing family and wonderful friends, but I had never felt this before. I thought, what a gift he's giving me right now. His presence is making me feel like anything is possible in my life. All of that anger and moodiness that I had before was gone. So of course, the person that I am, I had to go right home and study Buddhism and meditation, right? I got to figure this stuff out. Well, meditation was interesting. I could sit, we're all sitting, right? That's easy. But that mind up there, woo! That was like being at a wedding I had photographed. It was chaotic and the dance floor was full. But I practiced calming down, watching my mind very carefully, watching as the thoughts came and went. And I started to think that it was very much like my practice of photography, except in photography, I was looking out here very carefully. And in meditation, I was processing that external world in here. So it was kind of cool. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to bring this into my studio with my clients. So as my clients started entering my studio, I would keep the camera down for a while. I would talk with them and listen and hear their concerns about being photographed, their insecurities or uncomfortableness. I'm sure none of you have felt that in front of a photographer. And what I started to find is that those people started to feel a little more accepted and that I wasn't expecting anything from them. And they started to give me something from in here, not just their external beauty, but something from in here. And we began to connect. So it wasn't just me taking their picture. We were making the images together. So I guess I'd been doing this about 2 years, meditating and practicing this mindfulness. I thought I was all that in a bag of chips on my meditation cushion. I was super chill. But then I thought, I've never really been tested. And, as a practicing Buddhist, you're supposed to have these challenges that you overcome and you learn from them. So I literally sat on my meditation cushion one day, said, universe, send me someone to test me. Be careful what you wish for. But who showed up was this guy. This boy right here, who's the straight-A student and phenomenal soccer player. And this boy is also my son. Kydell is my son, and he's been my greatest teacher. Kydell was bounced around from caregiver to caregiver at a very early age and landed in a group home when he was only 5.5. And I began volunteering at this group home when he was 6. First thing I saw was this beautiful cocoa-skinned boy with big brown eyes. He was funny, athletic, energetic, and just real character, and I fell madly in love. So that first year I was at the group home, we played kickball together, board games. I even attempted video gaming, but I was really bad at it, so Kydell kind of just got frustrated, but he let me watch. And we bonded, we started to bond. So at the end of that year, Kydell came up for adoption. My heart was in it. I was sold. And I took this information home to my husband and my 2 teenage children. And I said, what do you guys think? Do you think we could do this? Do you think we could bring this boy into our home? They said yes. And that's how Kydell became a part of our family. Well, thank you. things were great for a while. He was 8 years old. He had a lot of energy, you know, all that going on. But like I said, I was a super chill meditator. I had it all handled. Parent of 2 already. But after about 2 months, something shifted for Kydell. He started to become very frustrated and anxious. And he would get upset about simple things like losing his pencil. And these negative feelings about himself and concerns about being rejected triggered emotions that he just couldn't handle. He became very violent. He started swearing at us, breaking things, hurting himself. And my husband and I literally had to tag team holding him down during these 2-hour meltdowns that would literally flip like a switch from good to not so great. I was becoming frustrated, anxious, and angry. Things were not going very well, and he was definitely not finding the peace in our home that I thought he would find. And I had a lot of expectations. He would love us by now. He would be happy here. And none of this was happening. So one day, I was sitting with my meditation group, and afterwards, at the end, I was speaking with my guide, and I said, Elizabeth, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. And Kydell is essentially the opposite of everything that I'm practicing. And I'm having a hard time accepting him. And she said, look at it this way, Kim. You need to just sort of pause and back up for a minute. Your family is like an elephant family. And you have invited a tiger into your home. And you're expecting him to act like an elephant. It's like, whoa, blew my head open. That was the best little visual nugget she could have given me. Of course Kydell was a tiger. He came from a jungle. He was wild, and he needed space. But he was also a survivor. And my family was an elephant family. We were bonded. We were solid. I also, by the way, was gray and a little wrinkled. But we were strong, and we could do this. We could love him. So I went home, and I took off that metaphorical zoom lens that was focused in so tightly on all of Kydell's past experiences and what I expected of him in the future. And I popped on that wide-angle lens and clicked into that I don't know mind. And I shifted my perspective around who he was and accepted him for that tiger. He did not change by me doing this, but I did. I found some inner peace, and I was able to let go of my need to fix or change who Kydell was. Fortunately, about 2 years into this, we discovered that Kydell had something called reactive attachment disorder. So essentially, his mind never developed properly, and he stayed in this fight or flight mode in kind of a chaotic state. But at the same time, we also discovered a therapy called Neurofeedback, which was fascinating for me because it was very much like the meditation practice that I was doing. Kydell was practicing concentrating and focusing his mind and training it to be able to handle his emotional responses and triggers. And he is now, by the way, a very happy and thriving young man because of this and our love that we gave him as a family. Thank you. I used to look at people who behaved like Kydell as mean or evil, and often made assumptions about their economic background and even the color of their skin, if we're being honest. But I realized that that definitely disconnected me and isolated me from any possibility of a deeper relationship with a person if I did that. So now, I get curious. I get curious to seek and understand all of the layers of the people that I'm with. Because we are not one-dimensional like the photographs that I showed you. We are multi-layered human beings in all of our mess, and we're all just trying to find peace. So I ask you today, what would it look like in your relationships if you could click into that I don't know mind and see through the clear lens that allows you to let go of expectations, judgments, assumptions, or ideas about how your relationships will go, and simply hold space for people? We all have tigers in our lives. We all have tigers in our lives. And while you don't have to invite them into your home, my family is proof that elephants and tigers can live very peacefully together and happily. And we can love each other when we accept our differences and our samenesses in the need to connect and to be accepted. Namaste, and thank you very much.